This is Prasad Gadpule. By profession, I am a consulting civil engineer and working in this field for last almost 36 years. Basically, I am in a construction industry where we have done construction for major residential buildings, industrial buildings, and since last almost 15 years, I am working as a consulting civil engineer and giving services like project management consultancy and auditing for the projects. As well, I'm in the teaching field as a visiting faculty for last almost 15 years and associated with about 4 architecture college in Pimpri-Chinchwad area. Just to start with my presentation regarding the subject, regarding the quantity surveying and specific writing. First, let me thank S.B. Patil College of Architecture Design for this unique concept where we have been asked to prepare the videos and to get connected with the students through the YouTube platform. My special thanks to Dr. Sonavane sir because of he has asked us to do this exercise and to elaborate few of the concepts ideas with the students, maybe related to the topic which we are already teaching in the college, as well as few of the other peripheral activities in relation with architecture and the construction activities. So as students knows that in our specification writing we are having about 3 major factors which we have learnt in this semester particularly, that is checklist. Then we have gone through the points related to brief specification, and as well as the third very important point is related the workmanship skills, commonly known as trades. So I'm just going to touch upon these 3 factors. So to start with the checklist, it is necessary to understand that why is a necessity of the checklist is to be there in the construction industry. The first of all, construction industry is very much a unique industry, or I should say it's a complex industry, and we have to manage obviously the 5M, that is man, material, money, machinery and methods. So to have all these things, there should be a proper controlling of all these 5M, and in a very systematic way it has to be done, and that is why the controlling tool must be there. So if we see in a management of the construction industry, it is necessary to understand that in all other industries we have quality management is a major factor, and in that particular we are having 2 major roles called as a quality assurance and quality control. So particularly quality assurance is dedicated for the part where you are going to establish few of the theory and the write-ups as a basis, and based on that the quality control activities took place or take place particularly, and where we actually get the work done through those guidelines given in the quality assurance. So we can say that checklist is one of the part of quality assurance, where the text has been prepared, and based on that text the work has to get executed, and based on all those parameters and the steps which are been specified in the checklist, the work has to be done. So that is what the main motto behind forming up the checklist. So we can call the checklist as a tool to be used to maintain and control the quality what is intended in the construction industry. So to begin with, we can have a specific what is the basic need of checklist in the construction industry. So there are about 5-6 points we can very much point out where the checklist is a very important factor. Basically, through checklist, we can regulate and we can provide a proper description of the regular and recurring activities in the construction line. So that listing we can prepare. The second is we can create a elaborate standardization of the different activities which has to be done into the execution. Just to give you an example, when we are talking about say brick masonry, so in brick masonry obviously we have to follow certain steps while execution, like we have to understand at the time of execution that the area where we are going to start with the brick masonry has to be properly made weight. Then it has to be there that the first layer of mortar has to be laid, then the brick has to be placed keeping the frog upside, then the proper joint has to be kept in between two brick, the proper uh, brick work system has to be adopted. It may be a English bond or Flemish bond. Then proper line, level and plumb has to be checked. So such a way we have steps, and according to the steps we have to get the work done. So same thing what we are just talking has to be written down as a text as step 1, step 2, step 3, and that becomes formulate the standardized steps for checklist. By doing this, we are doing one more very important thing, that we are supporting indirectly the system for controlling quality, safety, time and cost. These four parameters we can touch upon because of we are using the checklist. Let us take one by one. The quality in terms of material, quality in terms of labor also. Quality in terms of material, because in the checklist there is a part we call it the preparation part for the checklist. So in preparation we have to understand that what quality of material is specified by the user. So we have to check that part, and accordingly the material has to be supplied. So we consider the quality of material, we consider the quality or skill that we required for the labor work, that is a workmanship. So here we just touch upon the quality because of the checklist we understand what is intended. Second part is the safety. Obviously when we are doing the work it has to be done in a full of a safety manner, and so we have to check that whether all necessary safety equipments, it may be a PP or it may be the peripheral things, are properly on its place or not. For example, the scaffolding, the safety nets, helmet and maybe the other PP equipment. So we have to check list through, we have to see that all these things are available on site before starting the job. Time is very important thing. Through checklist, once all the things come in a proper coordination, in a proper line, it obviously possible to save the time. So it will not happen that because of material not available on site the work has been getting hold, or maybe the labor is not available, the work is getting on hold. All these things can be eliminated, and that's why we can do the work in a proper given time schedule. All these things obviously will result in the last part, that is the cost. So you are saving into the time, you are saving into the you are choosing the correct material, you are using the workmanship skill in a optimum way. Obviously that will result on a cost. So in all, that checklist is very much important in terms of quality, safety, time and cost. Very important thing, when we go through checklist we conduct each and every activity step by step. Obviously that will not allow to create any error or mistake in a process, because if any error or mistakes gets created it can be checked at that point only, and we can get overcome of that particular problem which has been appearing in the process of construction. In fact, when we create any error or mistake, that will give us a guideline that what exactly is missing in our checklist. So it will be a good thing that when we go through checklist we keep on point by point activities, and vigilantly we see that every activity has to be done in a proper way. So that's why it is helpful to minimize the defects and errors in the construction activity. Once you are reducing the defects and errors, obviously the corrective action taking activity is not required. So no corrections are required, because already you have taken the pre-measures while starting the job or while executing the job, and that's why it is necessary and it is important that we should have these things. The last thing about the checklist is that when we are going through checklist, it happens to be that the responsibility or duties of different people can be assigned at the time of using the checklist itself. So we understand that what work has to be done by the unskilled labor, by skilled labor, how the material supplier or the material marketing person is going to involved in the whole process, how the HR will be there in the whole process. So all the amalgamation will be there of all the activities, and that's why we can pinpoint each and every step and we can go through the activities. So we can say that for any good job, for any systematic activity to be conducted on site, checklist is the baseline by which it will help us to do the work in a proper manner with good efficiency. So to study this checklist, it is necessary to understand that how we can have the checklist in a different forms. uh, we can have major four parts in the checklist. The first part can be checklist for material. The second part will be checklist for tools and equipments. The third part will be checklist for the preparation, or you can say planning, and the last one is checklist for execution. So if we bifurcate all these checklist part in these four sub parts, it will be more easier to prepare the checklist for the given item. Considering this fact, let us understand first of all the material. So when we are talking about the checklist for material, uh, we'll just take one example about casting of slab for the given job. So in this case, how the checklist will work? So first we have to understand that what are the different materials required. So for slab casting, obviously there will be the first and foremost thing, we need the shuttering material, we need the reinforcement steel, and we need other material like concrete material. It may be cement, sand, and metal. So as a material checklist, what we are going to do based on the given design drawing, we are going to work out the quantities for the material. It may be the cement, sand, metal, steel, and we see that all that material has to be kept in order. We are going to place the order, we get the material on site in a different sequence. Likewise, initially we may need the shuttering material, so that has to be procured and brought onto the site. We may have to next get the reinforcement steel, so we'll bring that material next onto the site, and then at the time of concreting we need the cement, sand, and metal. So accordingly all that arrangement can be done. So that is the first part about the checklist for material. Next it comes for the checklist for tools and equipment. We have to see that all the things are placed in proper system. So tools and equipments, like we should need all the equipments and tools related to the shuttering work. We need the tools and equipments related to RCC work. Maybe for that we need some kind of machineries. It may be the pumping equipment, it may be the mixer, we may need the lifting machines, we need the wheelbarrows or the trolleys for transporting the concrete. We also need the vibratory machines. So we are having the checklist for all these tools, tackles, and equipments, and we have to see that all these are in its place or not before starting the job. So this is the second part of the checklist. Let us come to the third part of checklist, that is the preparation. So in the part of preparation, obviously we have to prepare the things. So as you know, when we start for the civil activities in terms of the slab, so we have to go step by step. First we have to start with the beam bottoms, then the beam sides, then the slab bottom shuttering, then we place all the reinforcement steel, and then lastly we go for the concreting work. Now, going through these steps, obviously at every step we have to need some kind of preparation planning. So we have to have the preparation planning, like that all these design drawings must be ready onto the site to get the work done through the laborers. All that labor arrangement must be there. So you should need the preparation of all that shuttering carpenters, we need the bar vendors, and lastly at the time of concreting we need all those agencies who are going to do the concreting work. Likewise the labor for transportation of the concrete. Maybe we are going to need some operators for the mixers and vibrators. We need the mason for finishing of the concrete. Not only you have to stop at this stage. Once you finish with the concreting, from next day you have to start with the curing activities. So you need to provide all those necessary requirements for the curing onto the site. So maybe the gunny bags, maybe the pumping systems, you have to create the bunding. So all that activity has to be started onto the site, and there we need all this planning. So the third part comes into the planning. And now let us go to the last part, that is the execution. So as we have just now seen in the brick masonry, we have to go step by step. So we have to write down all the steps under each head, starting with the shuttering, what the steps has to be carried out, then going to the next part of reinforcement, what steps has to be carried out, going to the last step of the concreting, then what steps has to be carried out. So we have a systematic steps. It is not possible that you are casting concrete first and doing shuttering afterwards. Obviously it is the case that your start must be with the shuttering, then the reinforcement, then the concreting. So at the micro level, we have to prepare the list of different items that we execute in the whole process of construction, and that becomes the entire part of the concept called as a checklist for making the slab execution. So this way we have to go with ample of activities. As you know, we have studied in our class and we have understood there are different activities in construction, starting from excavation to the finishing, maybe for the painting, etc. So if you go through all these activities, I will just enumerate the basic activities like excavation, earthwork. We may having RCC work, PCC work, masonry. Under masonry we are having brick masonry, stone masonry. In case of plastering, we are having the external plaster, internal plaster. We are having the flooring job to be done. Doors and windows has to be installed at their location. As well as we are having the sanitary and plumbing work, painting work. So there are waterproofing job is very important job. So as a student, you can just go through these different items, and it is necessary to prepare this checklist for different items based on all these details. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot. Next time when we'll meet, we'll go for the few of the next items. Thank you, bye.